and we are alliance partner of the NDA. There is no question at this stage. There is no question of changing over, seeking realignments. We are an integral part of the NDA. We have fully endorsed the candidature of Mr. L.K. Advani as the Prime Minister. Mr. Nitish Kumar has shared the dais recently with him in several meetings in Bihar. And we are fully behind the NDA's efforts to come to power, of which we are an important and an integral ally.
Okay, let me take that to Ravi Shankar Prasad. Ravi Shankar Prasad, that's probably what you want to hear, but you're a politician. You know how to read between the lines. Why is Nitish talking about his friendship with the left when there's not even 10 days left for this country to find out who our next government is going to be? Why now? Why is he talking about friendship today?
Well, Barkha, my good friend Atul Kumar Anjar is sitting there. The gravitational pull of the left is a leftover of Indian politics, okay? CPI was a big party in Bihar, it is nowhere there. Let's leave it like that. These are casual comments. We have no problem with that. We have different political parties. But I again repeat, Nitish ji, Sharad ji and we are together for the last 15 years. It is a friendship born out of the fight against misuse of Lalu Prasad, which still continues. And Congress party has not responded, is trying to cultivate Lalu Prasad, recultivate and also new cultivate Nitish Kumar. You don't play politics like this.
Ravi, before I ask Atul to respond to that, you're saying these are casual comments. Is there such a thing in election season called a casual comment? Do you believe there's such a thing?
Well, Barkha, the point is that Barkha, these things made good media story for you. You are a good friend of mine. Kal ko kisne dekha hai, you have been reporting out of context. Nitish ji was constrained to clarify that. My good friend NK has clarified that. Arun Jaitley has clarified that. Today I am coming in a meeting from Nitish ji where he said, I want to see Advani ji as the Prime Minister of India. Yet you have to have a special stop the buck. No problem. It's good media story. But our friendship is firm. Nitish ji's anti-Congress credentials are too well known.
Okay,
and
fair enough. Fair enough.
NDA like a rock.
Fair enough, but I want Atul Kumar Anjan to respond to that. So maybe his anti-Congress credentials are well known, but not his anti-left credentials. Ravi Shankar Prasad says it's a casual comment. NK Singh says Advani is still their man for PM. Do you still believe that there is room for maneuverability?
Number one, my friend Ravi Shankar Prasad ji has said that you are reading out of context that kal kisne dekha hai. I think Nitish ji has correctly understood today. आज के हालात देखकर कल के बारे में वो सोच रहे हैं. That's the main point. Number two, as far as the Nitish ji is concerned, I think his ideas are very clear. And yes, Ravi Shankar Prasad ji, Nitish ji with you for last 10 years or 12 years. But you see, it is not necessary for 10 or 12 years somebody is with you, so he will remain another 5 years with you. Now the situation compels the Nitish Kumar ji and Sharad Kumar ji to think the latest stock. And what he has said, another very important point, that we don't want a new parliament election. So the realignment of the forces are very much on the cards.
Quick response
and
to that
I think that has to be taken. And our relation with the left,
yes,
with the Nitish Kumar ji, has never been very bad. And I think we have worked together on many fronts, from the right from the student days and all the many issues.
So there may be Ravi, go ahead.
Well, Barkha, my good friends of the left can only live with hope because of their area of influence getting restricted. What I'm trying to highlight today is the ground reality in the last 1 month has changed substantially, Barkha. I would be with you on the 16th. And let me tell you today very clearly and categorically, I am in the field. I have traveled 12 states in the country. BJP and NDA are going to be very close to the magic number on 16th when the counting will be there.
All right.
And all this media story will only reveal the...
You're saying very close.
Ravi Shankar ji, you should stick to your points that on 16th you will be very near to the magic number. But I think after touring the 12 states, you have understood what is the reality. And I say NDA is not going to get
Okay. Jayanti is trying to make a point also.
16th, Atul.
Okay, Jayanti, sorry, go ahead. You were trying to make a point. Jayanti, go ahead.
No, yeah, I was trying to make a point to Ravi Shankar Prasad that he's talking about these 15 years of wonderful friendship, which is exactly what happened with the Biju Janata Dal, and Naveen Patnaik realized the error of his ways, though he's anti-Congress, and they left. So this is really nothing to go by. Post-poll, I think we're going to see a very different scenario. Let Raviji not place too much emphasis on 15 years of friendship. I think the signs, the writing on the wall is extremely clear, and the BJP should really start reading that writing on the wall.
Okay, let me get a final comment from NK Singh before I take that back to Ravi. NK Singh, do you want to clarify, the claim made by Sheila Dikshit that Nitish is looking to join the Congress maybe, or do an alliance with the Congress post-elections?
Purely in the realm of speculation, and as you rightly quoted a particular word, that it was an enigmatic statement, and like all enigmas, they cannot be resolved.
Jayanti, do you want to respond to that? NK Singh says Sheila Dikshit
Yes,
claims...
most certainly.
Yes, go ahead.
I would like to respond to that.
Yes.
I think there are many ways of reading particular statements. I think when Mr. Nitish Kumar says that we will have to form, there has to be a realignment of forces, we will have to give a stable government to the people, that can be read in many ways. If the third front, or the whichever front that is, if the left, if his old friends in the left are not able to provide the numbers, is he going to provide a secular government? Is that what he's going to do? Or is he going to allow something else to happen?
Okay.
I think he himself spoke best when he said the future alone can tell. There are many ways of interpreting it, and I appreciate Mr. NK Singh's limitations in saying anything further while they're still with the NDA.
Okay, Ravi, quick last words to you. What about the ideological disconnect with Nitish Kumar, who said he did not want Narendra Modi to campaign in Bihar, who said he would not share a stage with Narendra Modi? Does that at least concern you? Last comments.
Well, Barkha, this issue we have been raising in all the elections. And to my good friend Jayanti, Nitish ji was a member of Mr. Bajpayee's cabinet for 6 years, in spite of all the allegations which my good friend Jayanti and her party has been making. What I would like to emphasize, Barkha, today is that out of the 40 seats in Bihar, the NDA is going to win minimum 30 out of 40. It will cross that. And what I see a pattern today, which makes me confident, that in 99 Bihar won 41 out of joint 54 seats. And today if we are going to cross 30, it is going to be a benchmark for the NDA for returning back to power with a comfortable majority. I stand by that,
How many
and
will
I'm
the
quite
BJP
confident
win?
about that.
Ravi, Jayanti has a quick question for you. How many will the BJP win of that?
How many will the BJP win, and how many will Nitish Kumar win?
But Barkha, I think Jayanti and we are going to be on a channel for a couple of hours on 16th. Okay, I'll explain to her. That we are contesting 15. We are going to win not less than 12 seats, and JDU is contesting about 25 plus, not less than 21, 22.
Okay.
This is going to be also.
And I'm going to be the Prime Minister of India.
Who's going to be the Prime Minister, Jayanti?
I am, if what he says is true.
Well, this is the kind of election campaign where anyone can be Prime Minister, so we may as well all throw our hats into the ring. Thank you so much, Ravi Shankar Prasad and Jayanti Natarajan and NK Singh for joining us on the program this evening. Quick last word from you. How many seats for Nitish in Bihar?
I think they will get some, this NDA will get around 20 seats.
All right, that's fairly conceded by what's still the opposition. Thanks very much, Atul Kumar and Jan, also for your time on the bus stops here tonight. Now let's take a look at what all of you on the internet are saying about this whole issue. We'll take a quick look at what the new media is reporting on these elections. So what are the bloggers saying tonight? Our first blogger is Anand Elu, who says Congress has given a secular certificate to Nitish Kumar just because he condemned Varun. The party needs to introspect after making such opportunistic moves towards Nitish. Our second blogger is John Syriac. John Syriac, who writes on his blog, Nitish's discomfort with the BJP is showing. He's now cozying up to the left, but he may end up joining the UPA. Is Nitish Kumar the man with endless options? Alright, but this is actually an election with endless options, which is what makes it all so exciting. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side of the break, there's lots more coming up. We'll look at the entire black money issue. Is this an issue that voters care about, or is this an issue that the BJP is just trying to reap political dividends on? That's the show on the other side.
स्विस बैंक्स में या जो टैक्स हेवन्स बन गए हैं,
You're watching the buck stops here, and time now for our second special focus this evening on the entire black money issue. The BJP says there are crores and crores of Indian rupee illegally stashed away in Swiss banks, and the Congress is doing nothing to get it back. Will this be a poll issue at all? Take a look.
छल से बल से झूठ से जो धन गया विदेश में, वो सिक्का सिक्का अपना है, उसे लाना है अब देश में, देश में।
भारत का धन
काले धन को देश के विकास में लगाएगी भाजपा।
विश्व के
एक सरकार भारतीय जनता पार्टी।
अन्य भागों में स्विस बैंक्स में या जो टैक्स हेवन्स बन गए हैं उनमें पहुंच चुका है।
In this largely issueless election and in the age of economic slowdown, the BJP believes there's political currency in suggesting that 70 lakh crore rupees worth of illicit money is stashed away abroad. It's got some high-profile endorsements like spiritual leader Baba Ramdev. Not far behind, the third front has joined the Bring Back Black Money chorus. Mayawati, whose party boasts of some of the richest candidates, blames the Congress. The left asks, what was the BJP doing in its years in government? The Congress has been forced to respond, telling the Supreme Court it's doing all it can to bring back the money, but underlining what it argues is a farce.
भाजपा ने जिस प्रकार काले धन के मुद्दे को उठाया है, इससे कुछ और सवाल पैदा होते हैं। इस मामले को एक सिर्फ इलेक्शन स्टंट ही नहीं बनाया है, वो इस पूरे मामले में गैर जिम्मेदार भी रहे।
The question remains, is the figure of 70 lakh crore rupees accurate? Is all money in Swiss banks illegal? And most importantly, will the voters really care?
Alright, so what is this entire controversy about and what should you and I feel? Of course, the Supreme Court has now got involved. The petition has gone all the way up to the Supreme Court. The PM says that this is a poll stunt. The BJP says the Congress has done nothing to bring back all this illegal money. Let me start with Mahesh Jethmalani, who of course heads the BJP task force on this issue. Mahesh, the Congress wants to know why is the BJP raising this now and why didn't the BJP do anything when the NDA was in power?
Malka, with all respect to the Congress, that's a completely, side issue. It's a side win. They should really focus on the issue at hand, and that's getting back the money. Fact of the matter is that this came in the public realm, in the public domain, in February 2008, when ALT Bank Liechtenstein said that they had paid a bribe to a Swiss bank. I think the sum was 4.2 million euros, and having paid that amount to an employee of that bank, they obtained a list. That list included all the secret account holders, not just of Germany, but of citizens from all over the world. And then the German finance ministry made a public statement that anybody who was interested, any country that was interested in knowing the names of its secret account holders in Swiss banks were most welcome to approach it. Ever since February 2008, I think Mr. Advani raised that issue since the statement first came in the public domain. It's not as if it's suddenly come out, and the Congress party has dragged its feet, no matter what they might say in the affidavit in court today. They've made tall claims in the affidavit, I've read it today, but the court itself, the Supreme Court itself is not satisfied about the pace at which the government has proceeded. I just want to add one more thing, that the Congress party has actually resorted to the DTAA, that is the Direct Taxation Avoidance Agreement, in order to obtain these names. Now they didn't have to do that. This is not a tax issue. This money.
Okay, we'll get into the specifics in just a minute. Let me get first comments from Abhishek Singhvi. Abhishek Singhvi, why is the Congress resistant to this as an issue? After all, it is an entirely unobjectionable demand that everybody should agree on, that the money, if it is illegally stashed away in these accounts, should come back. Why is the Congress being so resistant on this issue?
Barka, there are many facets to this issue and there is no question of the Congress being resistant. You have heard an unequivocal statement from the Prime Minister of this country that when we are again in power after 16th of May, we shall seek the full cooperation of the Leader of the Opposition, Mr. L.K. Advani, and the BJP to make sure to initiate all possible steps in the first 100 days. That's a commitment, and that certainly we realize the seriousness. It's a good thing. Having said that, the second point can't be forgotten. Obviously, Mr. Advani and the BJP and all those who have thought of this idea suffered from selective amnesia from pre-98 and from 98 to 2004. Surely,
Swiss bank accounts, Indians' black money stashed there or other black money stashed there was not invented after 2004. Surely it did require a G20 to remind these gentlemen who for the first time raised it in 2008 February. The third aspect is that if you don't want to make it an emotive issue, you don't want to make it a rhetorical issue, if you don't want to just make it as a political beating stick and score points, then come down to the nitty-gritty. The nitty-gritty is that these are now all covered by confidentiality rules. So unless you have a multilateral comprehensive treaty signed by many countries, which India will certainly go into and initiate, to try to breach those laws and agree that we will have transparency, it won't work.
Okay.
And last but not the least, it's not only about foreign money abroad, it goes from India. So you need to restructure your domestic transactions, your tax systems. This ultimately it's the black money generated here which goes there. Okay. So that's a larger issue. But I can assure you that this incoming government of the UPA Congress will seek all cooperation with Mr. Advani and the BJP to make sure this is done. His great wish in the middle of the elections, born for the first time, will be granted.
But Mahesh, now what does the BJP do? The Congress is saying yes, valid issue, and we'll cooperate with the BJP if we come back to power. Does that kind of take the sting out of the tail?
I'm a little surprised. Well, it's not taking this thing out of the tail. I mean, that's assuming, first of all, they do come to power, which is, as far-fetched as the arguments of Mr. Singhvi, good lawyer that he is. I'm afraid he doesn't realize that he's hoisted by his own petard. Let me tell you one thing, that the Congress itself has only taken up this issue. I mean, he goes back, Mr. Singhvi says that why didn't the BJP raise this? Because I have repeatedly said that this couldn't be raised, it came in the public domain only in 2008. That is the very reason why the Congress slowly, under goading from the BJP, particularly Mr. Advani from April 2008 onwards, has only taken this issue up. Remember, the Congress has been in power since 2004. It has only been taking this issue up in 2008, and it wouldn't have done so unless it were not for repeated reminders by the leader of the opposition, Mr. Advani.
But Mahesh, may I add an interjection there? Mahesh, I'm sorry to interrupt, but may I add an interjection there? You're saying the black money issue came into the public domain only in 2008. Sorry, I know you're trying to say something. I'm just trying to get a word in. You're saying it came into the public domain only in 2008. My question is that really so? Because all of us have known forever that people are stashing away black money in Swiss bank accounts when they're not doing it in offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands or Mauritius. So what's the big element of surprise that came into the public domain in February 2008?
Barkha, it's very simple. Barkha, it's very simple. There's a very simple answer to that. Before that, Swiss bank secrecy was watertight. The door was opened by a German bank who got the list of secret account holders by bribing a Swiss bank employee. This happened in February 2008, and the German finance ministry spokesman made a clear enunciation of policy that any country who wants to have its secret account holders' names revealed may come forward with a request to us, and we will do it. February 2008 is a watershed date. Everybody knows that. Everything that Mr. Singhvi and his Prime Minister says is completely specious. It is 2008 that's an important date. Thereafter, President Obama has put pressure on the Swiss government. A suit has been filed against UBS Bank by the United States government, and the UBS Bank has to pay a fine of $800 million, and it has yielded on Swiss bank secrecy. So 1 minute, let me just finish, Barkha, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Since February 2008, the door has been opened. India and its Prime Minister refuses to put its foot in. Not anything that Mr. Singhvi says can wish that away.
Okay. That was a very, very passionate intervention. Abhishek Singhvi, that fiery rhetoric, how do you deal with it? Are you concerned that this is now going to catch the imagination of the middle class voter? In this time of an economic downturn, it's not nice to imagine that the people making lots of moolah and then stashing it away in accounts that are closely bound by secret watertight rules.
If you give me half the time you gave my friend Mr. Mahesh Jethwarani, I'll try to tell you what happened. Mr. Advani and the BJP, the way they're going about it, merely trying to whip up emotions, are actually doing nothing for the cause. They are making it a very, very cheap emotive issue. This is a hard-nosed, hard-work issue, and that is to get down to nitty-gritty. You will not get a penny like this. You will not get a penny by saying that there is 115 billion stashed there and you get it back and distribute it to the poor of India and the debts will vanish. This is nothing but pure political rhetoric. What you will do, if you are really serious about it, of course you were never serious, I repeat, he hasn't answered your question prior to 2008, for as long as we can remember, Mr. Advani's government from 98 at least should have moved one little finger to do one little thing, to talk to one little bank, to get any information about this issue.
Okay.
So obviously, in the middle of election, if you raise it, it is an ulterior motive. But yes, what you can do and should do is to work out how the confidentiality laws and the secrecy laws of different countries can be avoided or can at least be overridden by treaties or by arrangements or by some such system. Coupled with a very strict system where the generation of black money in the first place is limited. That's the two concrete things we should do, and I'm all for it. But not in the way in which emotions are being whipped up in general, vague generalities.
All right, I'm almost at the end, so 10-second last comments to both of you. Mahesh Jethmalani, how has the BJP calculated the figure that it says exists in the Swiss bank accounts?
You know, Global Financial Integrity has published these figures, for God's sake. Between 2002 and 2006, there's been a flight of capital from India, according to Global Financial Integrity. Now, you know, you have to accept that report because it comes from very weighty sources. 25 billion a year, which means in 5 years from 2002 to 2006, it's about $130 billion. You extrapolate that over a period of time, and it comes to 25 lakh crores or $500 billion. It's the period of 2002 to 2006, for which you have a clear figure.
Okay, Abhishek Singhvi, very quickly, does the government have any assessment of its own on how much money may be stashed away secretly in Swiss banks?
Very frankly, Barkha, the figures might be much lower than which are being bandied about. But equally frankly, I believe that this debate about figures is irrelevant. You and I know, everybody knows, that there are vast sums stashed away by Indians and by non-Indians and from other countries. The point is, the figures don't matter. The principle of working towards transparency in inter-country bank arrangements is a vital principle. It should be worked for, whether the figure is 100 billion or 1500 billion, it hardly matters. I do think, however, that a genuine estimate would give you a figure much lower than that which is being bandied about.
Okay, well, clearly both of you will now have to explain yourselves to the Supreme Court, whichever party comes to power. Thanks very much, Abhishek Singhvi and Mahesh Jethmalani, for your time on the buck stops here tonight. Now, what are you, our viewers, saying on this entire issue of black money? Let's take a look at the best said emails. The best said emails, if we can have them coming up. We have Mohinder writing from Jamnagar. Mohinder is saying, be it the UP or the NDA, no one's going to do anything about black money. It's politicians' black money and it will go in their pockets. Not strictly true. It's a lot of business people and other people also who have black money stashed away. So the political bashing on this one doesn't quite work. Our second email is from Vishal Tambe. Vishal Tambe from Mumbai writes, black money is a serious issue. Politicians are just making an election issue out of everything. But I hope on this one, the new government does do something about it. Alright, we're going to take a quick break, but after that, the defining soundbite of the day that's coming up on the other side. Finally, on the buck stops here tonight, as always, we are tracking what our politicians are saying on the campaign trail. Some of them are wittier and some of them are nastier than the others. And tonight, Narendra Modi gets credit or the blame for the bite that hurts. Narendra Modi, whatever else you may say about him, he is a magnificent orator. Now, before we close, we'd like to tell you, our viewers, that we'd like your contribution and your participation in this show. Beyond emails and beyond blogs, if you'd like to post a question for me or any of our other panelists, using your web camera, just post a video question or an image that you think should be part of this program. Our editorial team will vet it, and, well, if it's worth what you think it is, it'll be on this show. Take a look at what you can do to participate with your video questions or images on the buck stops here.
have a story to share, a comment to make,
So basically you're saying if one murderer gets away, you need to let go of all the other murderers in town.
or just a question to ask?
Hello Barkha, this is Shashank here and I have a few basic questions that I need to ask you.
The Buck Stops Here gives you a chance to make your voice heard. Upload your videos on the Buck Stops Here show page on ndtv.com and we'll make sure the buck stays where it belongs.
Right, so keep those video questions and those images coming in. I promise to answer every question you post for me. Thanks for watching from the entire team. Goodbye and take care.